As we mentioned, the #1 class in the country is USC. They have been #1 in the past, but it's been 2 full decades since the last time they were this highly ranked. It's what happens when you have so many kids. I mean, 13 of the top 55 kids from the state of California are going to stay in state and go to be Trojans. Well, Lincoln Riley is the man who's bringing in this absolutely amazing class, and he joins us now to talk about it. Lincoln, why do you think this incredible class came together so well for you guys this year?
I think there were a lot of factors. I think just some of the overall program improvements that we've been making here over the last several years, I think got to a point where, we were able to attract a really good class. This class really started in Southern California. It was a tremendous year in this area. A lot of really great players, people that we thought really fit our program from a cultural standpoint. And then we were able to target some guys outside in some of the different states across the country and really land on some outstanding players. And I think the biggest thing is this class just cohesively, I think, saw the opportunity, not just individually, but really collectively for themselves, here at USC, and the opportunity with the way that the program's grown over the last few years to try to help be the group or part of the group that could help push this thing over the top. And so I think their desire to win championships at a high level and do it at SC together was really kind of what bonded this group from the beginning.
Well, you mentioned there that it sort of started in Southern California, and on paper, I mean, you just absolutely dominated your home state this year, which has not been the case necessarily in previous seasons. How much of that was, as you said, the fact that this particular year just had a lot of great talent, and how much of that was a stated goal of you and your staff to try to get that local area more so?
Well, that's always been a goal. I mean, I would say that's really never changed here. I think what has changed is, as we've improved all these different parts of the program, we're giving guys a lot of reasons to say, why would I get on a plane and go somewhere else when I could do it right here at Southern California? And I think a lot of these guys have grown up watching this program over the last few years and seeing it elevate. And I think their excitement level about being a part of it and doing it here at home just really fit. So I think there's a lot of factors. I mean, I've described it almost as a perfect storm of all these things coming together. And fortunately, it was in a year where we were going to take a lot of high school guys, and it happened to be just a phenomenal year in the local area.
You have, in particular, some impressive pass catchers coming in this group. Dixon Wyatt, Feaster, Bowman, Mosley, Weaver. Off the top of your head, give me a couple guys that stand out to you in that area.
Well, you name most of them there. It's a really, really good group. We obviously lost some strong production at the receiver and the tight end position. And so, signing some guys that we felt like could come in and have the opportunity to compete and help this program early was definitely a focus. And I feel like that we've done that. We're excited to have a lot of those guys here for spring ball. So we'll have a chance to get on the field and work with them right away and pair them up with some really nice returning players in both the receiver and tight end room. So certainly have to replace some excellent production, but we feel like we've got the bodies in there to do it.
Quarterback Jonas Williams was just an outrageous high school player in Illinois.
He was. He's all-time leading touchdown passer in that state, which is not an easy thing to do. So shows, some sustained success. He came out of a fantastic program, was really well coached. And yeah, somebody, as that process went on, we really zeroed in on and felt like from a fit standpoint that he fit our offense, our system, again, our program just better than any other quarterback in the class. And so it was great to get him out here. He fell in love with the place and has really done a great job already building relationships with his teammates and the other guys in the class. So another player that's here early and will get a lot of reps here in spring ball.
This year your Trojan team ran the ball really well. There's a couple running backs in particular you're bringing in, Sean Alston, Deshaun Rideau. What stands out with them?
Yeah, I think these two complement each other really well. Alston is a really power guy. He's got a really big, strong, compact body. Really put together, runs with physicality. He's got great feet. I think he's a really versatile player. And then Rideau is a guy that's got home run speed. He's got return ability. He catches the ball very well. And also, he's certainly not a small guy either. And so, yeah, we felt like it was a great 1-2 punch. Could certainly envision getting those two guys on the field a lot together. And felt like they just both really fit what we were looking for out of the running back position.
Lincoln, it is a remarkable group of players you are bringing into USC and to the Big Ten. Congratulations on that. Thanks for some of your time.
Anytime. You got it. Fight on.
And you look at the breakdown. They are, again, #1 in the country. Also have a top 30 class in the transfer portal. One of their top recruits, a guy named Luke Wafel from New Jersey, top player in that state, top 50 overall, regardless of position. Terrell Anderson comes from North Carolina State. He led that team in receiving yards that season. And we talk a lot about the fact that they're so Southern Cal heavy. I mean, 9 of their top 35 players from the state of California are going to be Trojans. But they are a national brand. They will always be a national brand. And some of the guys that caught your attention are guys not from the state of California.
Yeah, they've come out into the Midwest a little bit more. And when they've done that, they've had some good success. Guys like Desmond Stevens, Jaden Walker playing a big role. So to be able to go into Ohio and get one of the top corners in the country in Albert Hill, that's not easy to do when some of the top schools in the region were recruiting him. And he's been on the radar since his freshman season. So very well schooled, has played some tough competition. Holtman played a very national schedule that saw him play against Division I receivers quite consistently throughout his high school career. Track guy, can turn around with the ball. I think he can play outside. I think he can also play slot corner, may also get a look as a return guy. Aforementioned Jonas Williams, I think one of the more college-ready quarterbacks that came out of the Midwest this year. Extremely well schooled. I mean, you don't put up the stats that he put up in his high school career without having that polish to you. You watch him, he just has a very calm demeanor about him when he plays on Friday nights. Takes excellent care of the football, was an Oregon commit who they were able to flip.
Yeah, they've done an outstanding job of bringing in a lot of the skill positions, but when you think about Pepe being able to play left tackle, he's very athletic, very physical at the point of attack, really drives his feet and wants to drive his man into the ground, wants to finish you. So this is a guy that's going to have an opportunity, I believe, as long as he settles in, still continues to learn to play at a little bit lower level, he's going to have an opportunity to contribute early.
Keeney Pepe, one of the high school players that are coming, but there are also some transfer portal guys like John Tez Williams, Howard.
Outstanding players. When you start to talk about being able to bring guys into the mix, this is a guy that's got some experience, really played at a high level, and can take the football away. When you talk about being able to add those guys to the system that are going to be able to make plays for you defensively, that's what you're going to need to be able to do. Terrell Anderson is a guy that they're also going to have to be able to count on to step in and play immediately. We heard Coach Riley talk about the guys that he lost going into the NFL. This is an opportunity for a guy, a proven receiver that's going to make a lot of plays for this program in the coming year.
The first guy you mentioned in the portal, John Tez Williams, was all Big 12 2 years ago, but this past year he got hurt after just 5 games. That's a trend a lot of these transfer guys are due to, were really good and then got hurt, so they didn't maybe have the position they wanted to have on their team last year.
Hey, Mike, you're going to like this too. Didn't mean to interrupt you, but Pepe is an outstanding piano player.
Oh!
Yes,
well,
and I thought that would have been something you would have pulled out, but you didn't.
I smell a future Journey feature coming. DeCurran Moore, the top 5 wide receiver, the top wide receiver overall.
He's a complete stud. He's the complete and total package.
DeCurran Moore with another great catch.
Another great get for them is Brandon Finney, their cornerback, really long and fluid, 6'2", so that's college starting size at that cornerback position.
And it's Brandon Finney, the freshman, touchdown.
Here's a big run for Jordan Davison. Davis is into space. He's across midfield. Swipes a man away, fighting his way. Hill, nothing but taillights. Touchdown Ducks.
So much talent. It is understandable why Oregon is doing so well, and this class is really, really good. Yeah, that's the thing. Oregon has an ability to get freshmen and have them make an immediate impact on the field that following fall. And here's just a look at some of the names who were true freshmen this season that we talked about on signing days and made some immediate impact. Who will be those guys this year? Well, here's a look at some of the names, including Emmanuel Iheanacho, who's a top 20 player overall. Jalen Lott, a wide receiver who comes from Texas. He was a long jump and high jumper in that state, a top 25 ranked player overall, regardless of position. We talked with Dan Lanning back on the early signing day about this class.
it speaks to the brand of Oregon. This place is always been a place that it's a worldwide brand. And for us, we always talk to players about not picking, most convenient, pick best. And these are all guys that were willing to say, I see the best opportunity for me here at Oregon. They see a place that they want to be a part of. They see the innovation. And all these guys grew up, and this was a dream school for a lot of them. The opportunity to play at a place like this and a stage like this, and now to get to be in a conference like the Big Ten. It's really opened up some doors for us to be able to get elite players like these guys.
Here's a look overall at their class. 3rd best in the country, 2nd best in the Big Ten, a top 25 portal rank on there. You see Coy Parrots, that's a big name from Minnesota. We'll talk about him in just a second, but let's go with some big guys they're bringing in. I mentioned Iheanacho, one of the top 20 players in the country.
Yeah, and all those immediate true impact guys, that's true freshmen that you mentioned, those were skill guys. A little bit harder to do on the offensive line, but when you have a guy who's over 6'6", 345 pounds, he's going to at least come in physically ready to play. Yeah, just the right amount of bullying on the offensive line. But I think he can play right tackle. I think he can play inside as a guard.
I think he could be a monster truck.
Yeah, look at him. Didn't allow a sack last 2 years of high school. And then Kendra Harrison, another just physical monster, 6'7", 250 pounds. Also a really outstanding basketball recruit. There's a chance you might see him playing some hoops for the Ducks, but he brings that power forward type skill set to the tight end position. Huge mismatch problem, can play off the ball at that size, was really, really tough to do. Looks like a lot like Darnell Washington did in high school.
Jet Washington, the safety, to me, this is such an intriguing player at 6'5", 215 pounds. You don't see guys move the way he does from the safety position. He's a guy that's also going to be able to bring the wood and play down inside the box because he's a willing tackler. This is going to be interesting, the way they decide to use him in this defensive scheme. You just don't see people with the type of length that he has playing center field. Is going to be able to make some plays for them. Then you got guys in the back end. How about up front? Anthony Jones is a guy that I think can really make a huge impact on this program quickly. You see him at this particular level, it's a lot of speed rush, a lot of being able to get to the spot, but he also is going to be physical at the point of attack and be able to move guys out of the way. As he continues to develop the point of attack, he's going to be an elite player, and it's the reason he was a 5-star.
And you look at some of the transfer portal additions, they're coming from the Big Ten, like former 5-star QB Dylan Raiola.
Yeah, you think about this situation, why would he go there? Well, you only need to look at the current quarterback right now and see that he had an opportunity to sit and learn. This is a chance for Raiola to have an opportunity. Yes, he's been a starter, the marquee guy at Nebraska. This will give him an opportunity to really sit back and diagnose the game and be able to understand the game from the sideline as well.
Yeah. Hide your safeties from Oregon because they took Dylan Thieneman
right.
Portal the year before. That worked out. Coy Parrots this year, huge recruit from Minnesota, came in, made an immediate impact as a true freshman, tried some offense, has played a little bit there, played on special teams as well, which you see right here. Just a really fantastic athlete that they're at a position of need who is going to come in and I think be able to make an immediate impact for the Ducks.
Yeah, remember Parrish, you mentioned he added special teams and wide receiver. He was first team All Big Ten as a freshman at Minnesota. Now he's a Duck. And to your point, Raiola is going to sit behind Dante Moore, get to learn from him, learn the system, and then be ready to be in charge of the Ducks offense in 2 seasons.